Put that on. Alright.
Hashtag.
Cool.
Hashtag.
Alright, so we are live right now. People can see us. What is going on, everybody? Oh, Brandon's using. That's okay. Everybody just be patient with us. We are still working through some technical stuff.
Yep, but hey, we are here. We made it finally.
We finally did it.
You're gonna have to see my ugly face twice.
Hey, Chris is here.
Right, at least I'm a contrast.
Technical stuff. Yes, the most technical of things. So I will say, Chris, since you are here, I don't know if you made it to any. I think you were there for the tail end of me raging at Magic the Gathering. I did a game after I ended the stream and it worked perfectly fine. So I just happened to get two back-to-back shitty internet people, which made me want to just end myself.
Let me see.
Fair.
Okay, podcast notes.
I think for this first one, I might just get rid of this background because I think it's adding too
Put
much.
the studio mode back on. There we go. That sucks, yeah. I mean, it's fine. I know next time to, just prepare for shit.
I hope the audio sounds good. I think it sounds good. Brandon looks lost in thought.
How's audio for everyone?
Are we live?
Yeah, we are live.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we are definitely live.
What's going on?
We've been live for a couple minutes there.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've been live for a few minutes.
That's wonderful.
Oh, we went live when you went and took a shit.
That was the quickest shit you ever seen in your life.
I don't know what chat to talk in. Do I talk here or here? Here. There's a multi-Twitch. No, multi-stream. So if you guys want to go there, you have all the chats in one place.
I'm just trying to make sure that the audio sounds good real quick. So just bear with me.
We got followed by a radio and podcast channel.
Wow.
That sucks, yeah. I mean, it's fine.
All right, cool. All right, so it sounds good to me. I guess
You guys sound fine to me.
with that being said, I guess we can go ahead and get popping, get started. If y'all want to get started, do we want to get started? I always get nervous starting these things.
I think we've been started.
Oh yeah, obviously we've been started, but we want to really get started.
Yeah, let's get these start.
All right. Eventually, we'll have an intro video that I'll set up and I'll have it played, but I don't have it right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the RGG Geek and Critique. I'm one of your hosts, Mike, sitting alongside Brandon.
What up?
And on Discord, we got on Discord.
Brian.
Hey.
And Low-Key Trickster also goes by Preston.
Hey, Preston's here.
Hi, Preston.
Brian's
Mike
here.
sitting beside me, so you might see me on his screen as well.
Yeah, we're just not in the same room. We're all in different rooms.
We're in different homes.
But we're all here. This is going to become a weekly podcast that we do together, where we get together and we talk about general things in the industry. We talk about it's kind of a free form podcast is what we're shooting for with this. We are going to talk about news things, but it's not always going to be a news-centric show. My idea behind this is that sometimes we do things like spoiler casts where we'll take a new game that just came out. So like Kingdom Hearts 3, for example, I have one that I'm working on right now. We're going to do that, and we're going to get together and just talk all things Kingdom Hearts 3. But we might do it for other games. We'll do it for, everything, big news stories, all that kind of stuff. We're still working on the intro, as you can tell. But yeah, so we went through introductions. I guess we're going to kind of start with the one I wanted to start with, what we played last year, because the end of last year, in my opinion, was a pretty big year as far as games go. We had last year in general was kind of a big year for games.
Yeah.
We had a pretty solid set that came out. I know the first one that comes to mind for me is God of War.
Yeah.
That was a big one. That one game of the year last year. God of War was a lot of fun. God of War, Assassin's Creed, Red Dead. Those are the big. I mean, those were technically the big three from last year.
Yeah. You almost
I mean, you're skipping Detroit Become Human.
Oh, that's true. Detroit,
yeah,
Detroit
there
was
were a lot
last
of
year.
fucking
Detroit was
games,
last year.
Vampire.
Vampire. Yeah, but see, both. Go ahead.
I never even tried that game.
Vampire?
But, yeah, it looked good though. That shit looked.
I watched
fun.
Preston. I watched you play Vampire a little bit. It. I don't know. It really didn't.
Not a lot.
Didn't really pull me.
No.
Yeah, I was the same. I didn't really get into
Was
it.
it Square Enix?
Vampire was Square, right?
No, Vampire was Dope Nod. Same people who made Life is Strange and Remember Me.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Remember Me. That's a good one. Remember Me was a good one.
It does explain why I played it. David Cage on one hand is a golden god, so that's why I played Detroit.
Yep.
And Don't Nod, I mean, in my eyes, have done no wrong. So until they do, I mean, I'm gonna keep chilling out. I mean, same thing with like CD Projekt Red.
CD Projekt Red.
They've yet to do me wrong. So Cyberpunk is gonna get played, and if it's shit, then
then it'll be shit. Let it be, right? Let it be.
The
So.
problem is if that becomes shit, then like, do I trust them?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good. Well, no, I mean they've done. Well, I can't really speak to CD Projekt Red because I haven't really played. I tried The Witcher. Yeah, I tried Witcher, but I just Witcher 3 for me. Like Witcher 3, when I first started playing it, it just felt like there was so much to do from jump. Boy. Yeah, I got way overwheled from jump.
That shit's awesome.
So I had to.
I never even beat it.
Yeah, I had to stop playing because there was just too much to do from the start.
Yeah, it's the same. I literally got the first area done, and after that, it was just I'm done.
See, like I feel the opposite with Witcher 3. I feel like it was. I'm also the person where I don't want to leave a map until I've done everything anyway.
Yeah.
So the fact that there is so much to do in one area at the start, what felt like kind of like an MMO, where you can just go around and do whatever the fuck you want. There's an overarching story that you have to do, but you can do it at your pace. You're not like limited to, oh, I can't go here. Now you will run into enemies that will fuck your ass.
Yeah, that's my favorite part about it, man. You fight some crazy.
I mean, I fought a wyvern for maybe like 10, 15 minutes, well under leveled, just dodging and hitting every third dodge.
I was creeping through the woods and I seen one of them lessons and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I had to like check that shit out. It was like a walking tree branch, bro. I was like, yo, I'm Groot right here, and I was trying to fuck.
I'm Groot right here.
That shit fucked me up, bro. I was way under level for that. But that's what I liked about Witcher, definitely.
Yeah.
Enemies.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wanted to, I really wanted to, and when I started, I was like, man, this is really cool, and the mechanics were kind of cool, but like I don't know, I got overwhelmed really fast. It's the same reason why I haven't finished Fallout 4. Same reason why, Skyrim really just didn't pull me, but I think we kind of detracted, but to bring us back, Detroit was another one that you brought up, Preston. Detroit was another that I didn't finish. I felt like it was just a little too. Connor's story was too prevalent in Detroit, if that makes sense, and it to me it felt a little too on the nose. And I feel like even if you played it the way that you wanted to play it, it still felt very.
Like they were forcing you in a certain direction.
Yeah, they were forcing you in a certain direction because like you had options to make different choices, but it just felt like that those wouldn't be the options. Or those wouldn't be the choices that character would actually make, which is why. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so having played at least one storyline of Detroit, there's too much plot armor.
Yeah.
For some of the characters.
Yeah.
Connor and what's his name? Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus.
Too much plot armor for both of those characters. Connor, I understand why there's plot armor. Marcus, I don't. Because there are scenes with Marcus where he should have died, and they brought him back for no good reason. Yeah,
because you played it really unorthodox and played it, strictly strictly bad at first? Is the way you played it?
My playthrough was to kill the androids as fast as possible.
Okay.
I wanted to see how long the game would take before I killed all three main protagonists.
Yeah.
And Kara, very easy.
Yeah, Kara's was hella easy.
To kill Kara. There are scenes where you think you should be able to kill Marcus, but story related, they bring him back. And to me, the reasons they did it made no sense. So spoilers for
Detroit
here. There's a scene where you're stealing parts from the manufacturer of like the androids for the Resistance because they have a bunch of sick and injured androids.
Yeah.
I played it where I didn't get any, like I barely got any parts. I didn't do any helping with Marcus. And then when we got caught, I didn't try to stop it, and I just stood there and waited for the game to play out.
Mm-hmm.
You get attacked and mauled at the very end, and it goes black. And I'm like, okay, Marcus is dead.
Yeah.
Well, then the next time you see Marcus, they're like, we used the parts we gathered from the warehouse to fix you. And I'm like, why?
Why? Yeah, why would
the
you?
reason we don't have anything. Why did you bring me back?
Of all people, why did you bring me back?
And I think it's because he needs to make it to a certain... There's a certain part in the story where he can die, and it's not as early as you would like.
Yeah.
And there's just too much plot armor on the part of some of the characters. Now, apparently there is a trophy for killing Connor in like a bunch of different...
ways.
So it's like 12 different ways or something?
Uh-huh.
Where if you kill Connor, you get a trophy for it.
Okay.
And it's cool, but at the same point in time, I understand why Connor is brought back because it's technically...
That's technically part of his story. Like
technically with Connor is every time you see him open his eyes in a scene where he like comes back to like snaps back to reality.
That's a different Connor?
Well, he's uploading his consciousness to the mainframe.
Okay.
And essentially if he dies, they just put him in another body. And then they upload his last consciousness.
Oh, they got some Orochimaru type shit going on.
Because if you play it properly, you can get a scene where it's Connor versus Connor.
Okay.
Fighting over Hank.
Over Connor.
So, like, Hank is captured by a secondary Connor, and you have to, like, you start fighting yourself, essentially. And
I'm the real Connor.
You have to convince Marcus you have to convince Hank that you are, in fact, Connor.
The true Connor, yeah.
Yes. And
it's like Highlander. There can only be one.
It's,
I didn't
using
shootout.
Only because I didn't get there, because I didn't have that interaction. But I've watched other people play it, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But it also explains why, like, he uploads his consciousness, is they are bringing him back every time.
Got you.
Right.
Got you. Yeah. But those
he makes sense because of why he's there.
Yeah, but Marcus
has no reason to have.
Yeah, not Connor, but Kara, she just doesn't come back when she dies.
Oh, she doesn't have plot armor at all.
No, she doesn't.
You fuck up with Kara.
Yeah, she gets her ass beat by the dad in the beginning. Yeah.
Yep, that's how I.
I mean, not nice, but nice.
But yeah, right.
I mean, I know like a lot of y'all are. I mean, I play probably the most eclectic choice of games.
Yeah, you play the most obscure stuff.
So my games that I played in 2018 were Darkest Dungeon, Digimon Hacker's Memory.
Oh yeah.
Owlboy came out last year.
That did come out last year, didn't
it? Cube 2 came out last year.
Cube 2 came out last year.
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
I really wanted to play Hellblade. So
good. Persona 3 and 5 Dancing.
Yeah.
Detroit, as we said.
Yep.
Vampire, as we said.
Yep.
New Gundam Breaker came out last year.
Yep.
The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, brought to you by...
I never played it. I had it on my list. I never played it.
Divinity Original Sin 2, but I mean, I backed that on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Same.
The Return of Obra Dinn, which is a great puzzle game if no one's ever played it. And Call of Cthulhu.
I didn't. Obra Dinn won some game awards last year, didn't it?
It did, and it honestly, I will say, of everything I played, not counting the 44 games I completed last year,
yeah,
Obra Dinn is like my surprise game of the year.
Got you.
Wow.
Because I didn't expect to like it.
Yeah.
I saw someone play it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And so I stopped watching them, and I went to go play it myself. And I literally spent every night playing that game until I finished it. I would just, as soon as I was done doing, watching whatever, YouTube and Twitch and everything,
you wouldn't hop back
11 o'clock at night, I'm sitting there Obra Dinning it up. Holy shit, I gotta finish the story. Gotta figure out who killed who, and it was like just the point.
That sounds like me with Tetris. Like I'm shitting you not. Like I have not stopped playing Tetris 99 since I downloaded it on the Switch. Like that shit is, oh my god, it's so wild for it to be like.
I'm kind of mad it's only on the Switch.
Yeah,
but different. That's cool, man.
Well, there's a couple of things that I'm mad that's solely coming to the Switch. Like I think it's stupid that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is only coming to the Switch. Like that's a Switch exclusive. That should not be a Switch exclusive.
Well, speaking of Switch exclusives,
here we go.
And speaking of funny things that are now being Switch exclusives, did you guys see the news about Scalebound?
No, I did not. Oh, don't tell me it's Switch exclusive.
So Scalebound, which was supposed to be a launch Microsoft Xbox One exclusive,
oh my god, here we go,
is now going to be a Nintendo Switch game.
That's funny.
Nintendo Switch exclusive, which is funny. Well, it's rumored. I don't know how much truth is behind that, but I saw the articles. And the other thing that makes me think that Microsoft is just not understanding what they're doing anymore is you saw that they're bringing where you can pay, like, you pay the $10 a month to play
the Game Pass,
Game Pass. Thank you. Game Pass is coming to the Switch.
See, I don't agree with that. I don't think it's that they don't know what they're doing. I think it's getting a better. I think it's them moving away from being a console centric.
Well, and here's my
console centric company and becoming more of a.
And honestly, I don't think and we've had this discussion at my old job, for the past, when I was there every week or so.
Yeah.
Microsoft's probably gonna get out of the console game after next gen.
Honestly, I think that I think that's the move that everybody needs to eventually make.
Well, my thing is, think about Game Pass. It's also on PC.
Yeah.
90% of their catalog is now playable on PC.
Yeah.
And so how can you sell a console to someone when they can just buy a computer and play it better on PC than on your console?
Well, I think
that's always been like an argument, but like I feel like just people like consoles, man. There's always going to be a consumer.
Yeah, I think you'll have your console exclusives that are.
They feel like the PC is probably a little daunting, They're not ready to They feel like that's like an upgrade, and they're not ready to.
Well, I'm saying
PC Master.
There's a place for console exclusives. I do agree, but what I'm saying is Microsoft their console exclusives aren't even console exclusive.
Yeah,
because you can play them on PC.
Yeah.
Or you don't have a reason to buy you don't have a reason to buy an Xbox console if you have a PC and now potentially a Switch.
Yeah, I guess.
They basically have made.
But
we're not going to sell systems.
There's also rumored that it's going to be on PS4.
And and again, if they come to every system, then they have no reason to make a console.
Yeah, I suppose.
And I get what they're trying to do. I get that they're trying to be like, oh, we can get more people to play our games if we put it in more places. But there's no reason to buy your hardware if your software is available everywhere. Sure. I wouldn't own a PS4 if I could play every PS4 game straight on my PC.
I don't know if that's. Well, yeah, if I could play every PS4 game somewhere else.
If I could play every PS4 game, exclusives included, if I could have played Detroit Become Human on my PC, I would have got it on PC.
Yeah, but that's the way the industry's heading, though. I think we're heading towards a unified platform where you can kind of pick up, because that's the beauty of the Switch, is being able to pick it up and go. You can, if you want that console experience. Granted, the hardware is not as crazy as a PS4 or an Xbox, but if you want the console experience of like Legend of Zelda, at home, you can do that, and then you got to go to the store. So you pick up your console. You can literally pick up your console and go and continue on playing while you're driving. So while you're driving. Well, I don't know about while you're driving, but
And I find it funny that people are using to justify the Switch when Sony did that with the Vita.
The Vita,
remote play.
Yeah.
The only problem with the remote play is connectivity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. That's what remote play is. You hook it up, as long as it's on the same Wi-Fi, you guys can play together.
You don't even need to be on the same Wi-Fi.
Or you can play it.
Like, I can log into. Yeah, you just need a Wi-Fi connection.
No, I was unaware of that.
as long as your system is on. So if my PS4 is on,
Yeah.
I can come over to your house, remote play to my system, and play. Because I've accidentally logged into Brian's PS4 on remote play on my PC.
Yes.
Yes.
because we share we share a console. Like mine is his primary, and
Yeah, game share.
his system
Yeah.
is my primary. If you lose like a connection or something happens with your remote play app,
Yeah.
you do have to like go back and sign in and put your like PIN number back in.
Mm-hmm.
But what it'll do is it'll try to find nearby. If it can't find nearby because whatever reason, or like you have a power outage, it'll then go to your home PC or your home PS4.
Yeah.
So mine will be like, well, I can't find the one that's literally 2 feet away from it, so we're gonna go to the one that's in Ivor, and that's like 5,000 miles away, and we'll start. And I'll see his screen. I'm like, oh shit, that's not where I want to be.
Whoops, wrong thing.
It's great when you're the game.
Well, you're the gamer, yeah.
The game, man. It kicks you out.
So it doesn't matter where you are with remote play. It just matters that you have a good internet connection.
Well, I think that's the problem, and why people didn't pay as much attention to it on the Vita is because it required a good internet connection. Whereas with the Switch, because it's right there on the hardware. So regardless of whether you're in handheld mode or you're in console mode, you're good to go. You're moving around.
Yeah, well, like the thing is like, yeah, they made the Vita with like cellular, but you could only use AT&T.
Yeah, there was a lot of stipulations with it. It was
so many
at
least they got the general idea of like some type of mobility with games.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Nintendo just made it
Nintendo games. They made it a lot easier for people.
Yeah.
Let's play Nintendo games.
I still think people underrated the Vita.
Oh, the
Vita
Vita.
same with the PSP, right?
Well, no, the PSP was loved. Yeah, the PSP was a very loved system.
Vita isn't hated by the people. It wasn't supported by the company.
Right. Yeah.
I think the big problem with the Vita, because I know I had a Vita. Preston, you have a Vita.
I have a Vita.
You know, there's the people that I know that have the Vita and have had the Vita for a long time. They love the console because it had some pretty solid hits on it. Like the fact that they ported over Persona 4. That was my first real love into the Vita was Persona 4 Golden. And that was like my first introduction into the Persona series was Persona 4 Golden. But because of that game, because of the Vita, I played that. I played Odin Sphere, Lether Seer. I played Dragon's Crown. What was some other stuff that I played on the Vita that I had? There's a Monster Hunter that I played on the Vita because they had the PSP classics that you could download. I played that. So like the Vita really, it was a good system. It just didn't, like Preston said, just did not get the Sony support that it needed behind it.
No, it really didn't get a U.S. push like it did, I think, a little more overseas.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is overseas, mobile and handheld gaming dominate the market.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Japan, everyone on the train is like either gaming on their phone, using their mobile device,
playing
or something.
a 3DS.
Yeah, like they're mobile. Like, and the thing is the places there are so small. Like housing and everything is so much smaller. It's easier to have like a portable than it is to like dedicate like space to a gaming
An actual
system.
console, yeah. You know, in America, everything's got to be big.
Rubbing in, Preston, you went to Japan.
Yes, I did, bitch. When we come
Shit.
Brandon, Brian, what'd you guys play last year?
You can go ahead, Brian.
A lot of Destiny.
A lot of Destiny.
A lot of Destiny.
Destiny 2, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that. I mean, I messed with God of War.
Mm-hmm.
And that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Oh
that.
God, God of War was so good.
Yeah.
God of War was so fucking good.
I have yet to play God of War.
Yeah,
I
you
got
need
it
to.
for free though.
You need to get your life together. You need to get your life together and play God of
And
War.
I also got Spider-Man for free.
What the hell is wrong? I forgot all about. Yeah, Spider-Man's in that list, that conversation too.
That's what I was saying.
Spider-Man,
like,
yeah.
Wow, that's lost.
Yeah,
Like, you can't that was a hit, but it was still.
it was very much the Horizon, of its year, because Horizon was one that came out, was really good, did really well, but it just got buried under everything else that came that year.
Yeah.
Because they timed that game wrong, which is funny because I think it came out the same time God of War did, but God of War I think God of War did so well because it was such a change of pace as far as like what the series traditionally played as, and it just it was just expertly done. It was just cracking.
I think Horizon was before God of War.
The date was before. Well, yeah, no, yeah, it was before God of War, but the I think the dates, like release time frame, was about the same. Release range, anyway. I think
he's talking about like time of year, because the God of War came out in April of 2018.
Yeah, and Horizon. Horizon came out. Horizon, yeah.
Took Forza and
I took For Honor and Horizon and put them together. Is what it was.
February of 2017.
There you go. Yeah, February. Okay, so yeah, so well, no, like a month apart. So.
Between is just.
Well, no, what he's saying is the time of year that they both came out was so early.
Oh yeah.
That the games that come out later just kind of bury
the
earlier games. Like,
but
honestly,
God of
when
War
I was
like
like going through, I pulled up a listing of every game that came out in 2018 to get my list together, and I was like, holy shit, I did play that. Like Hellblade, completely forgot about last year. Hacker's Memory, even though I remember playing it, I'm like, oh shit, that was like, I'm like, oh wait, that wasn't like 2017.
No, that wasn't a year ago.
I'm mad I forgot about the new Digimon game, and now that I remember there's a new Digimon game,
that's all I care about.
About
that's all I care about now, man. That's all I want. That's all I want is that game.
Mikey was playing
Cyber Sleuth,
and I was like, oh man, there's another one coming out, and then I was like, holy shit, there's another one coming out. Because like in the back of my mind, I knew it was coming, but I forgot, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's coming out, and I was like, oh shit, let me go look up this. And I'm like, fuck, there's no date. I mean, it's supposed to be a worldwide release, so that's a good thing.
Hopefully it is. It stays true to that. Did y'all play anything else? Brandon, what did you play?
I don't think I played much early in last year.
Yeah.
But I got into, when Call of Duty came out, I was fucking playing that a little bit.
Yeah.
Not really.
What did you think of Blackout?
It's okay. It was a nice different pace because it was like full first person.
Yeah.
So that's the first time I ever played like full first person fucking Battle Royale.
Battle Royale.
I mean, I know you could do it with PUBG.
Yeah, but why would you do that? Yeah, why would you do that in PUBG?
Difficult shit. But no, they made it very clean. It was fun. So it wasn't that bad for a little while. I just stopped playing it, and then tried to get back into like a shooter. That I played for a long ass time.
And it was just rough.
Yeah,
everybody's way far ahead of you. That's why I haven't picked up another Call of Duty since. Since
but then,
forever.
Red Dead, bro. I've been
Red Dead.
Yeah, I was like really plucking that thing up.
Man, I don't know what it was, but like Red Dead pulled me in. Like, cause like with me, it took about 30 minutes for me to start playing through Red Dead for me to really get sucked back into that world. So for me, it was kind of a task to start playing again, and I made it through, I think, to chapter 4. I think I'm halfway through chapter 4, and I kind of I don't have the drive to go back, just because it takes me so long to get going. Because like, I don't know, but once you get going, it's fun.
Yeah, I get lost in that shit. So,
yeah,
I really get immersed into feeling like a fucking cowboy, doing like the craziest shit, bro. Hog time people, like, come on, bro.
I'll never forget what Mitchell told me when the live first came out, when the online first came out for Red Dead. He was telling me that he went over, or him and his friend were playing, and what happened was there's this dude just running around one of the cities, hog tying people and executing them. And what happened was the dude managed to hog tie both of them. Mitch managed to get out, but his friend got executed before he could actually go and save him. And then the dude turns around, hog ties him again, and is about to execute Mitch, and then somebody just runs up out of nowhere and executes the dude. Yeah, so it was like, you saved me. Thanks for saving me, man. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean,
and
Smash. Oh, fuck yeah, Smash Brothers.
Smash.
Oh,
hell
yeah.
At the very end of the
yes.
Smash.
Best Smash Brothers out there.
And I played, even though it came out like the year prior, but I played a lot of Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. I have a Switch now. I need to pick it up.
That shit is amazing.
Yeah, everybody that's played it has told me that it's amazing. It's a great.
You love Zelda. You like that.
Yeah,
it's a different variation.
Say again, Brian.
I was trying to think when Tales dropped. I think it was this year.
Yeah, Tales was this year. Tales was Vesperia was this year, I think.
This year.
Yeah, it was this year.
What's that side for? What's that side for?
For me?
Yeah.
There are, well, biggest thing for me is, like, I want to play, like, all these games. Like, Tale, we got Dragon Quest, all the JRPGs.
Yeah.
They're just so time-consuming.
Yes, they are. Very much so.
And that was my big push last year of knocking out so many games was, okay, if I can lighten my load, even though, like, these aren't, like, games that I'm like, oh my god, I have to play these. But if I can, like, make a dent in that backlog, I can see, like, I can see, like, a light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, okay, I now have time that I can dedicate to X game and Y game. And this year, with it being, Dragon Quest,
9.
Well, no, not Dragon Quest. More like Dragon Quest Marathon this year. And then off stream, it's the Shining series.
Gotcha.
So, like, my time is, like, stuck with this little thing right here, my NVIDIA Shield Portable. Playing all the Shining games on this, streaming all the Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest games.
You look stressed out.
And then when I sit down, I think it's just like,
You're just naming games.
You look so stressed.
Down to play another game, and my brain goes, you really should be playing Shining.
You should be playing something else. Yeah.
You really should be, like, tackling, because, like, you know how many Shining games there are? You really should be playing them. Like, Resonance of Refrain just dropped again, and it's like, fuck. Like, every time I sit down and play something for fun, my brain is like, but you really should be playing.
But why are you not playing? Why are you not playing?
Because, like, I'll sit down and I was like, I'll try to play, like, something for fun, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know. And then, like, there's a little, like, voice in the back of my head, like, but you're so close to finishing that, like, battle in Shining. You're so close to the next chapter.
Bro. Just one more fight.
Damn,
just one more fight.
They do. Sometimes they do. They really do.
4 games into Shining, I feel a little better not playing Shining. It's once you can start, like, making a dent in the number of games,
you're okay.
It becomes easier, I think.
That's good.
Because, like, I still have the rest of Gaiden 2, Gaiden Final Conflict, and then I have to switch back over to the main story Shinings. I've done In the Darkness 1 and 2, doing the side Gaidens 1 to Books 3, Book 4, Final Conflict, and then we'll move back over to the regular Shining series, which I think now picks up at PlayStation. So I can finally jump from Genesis to a real, like, more modern.
Yeah, something that's a little more nowadays.
And it's weird because, like, when you're playing, like, older games, I don't know how many of you guys have gone back to, like, play, like, Nintendo and Genesis games. The amount of, like, not hand-holding that we had back then.
Yeah, especially with during a time where there was no, like, you had to actually go out and buy an actual guide in order to really, know what was going on. There was no internet to walk you through or guide you through.
It's not even that.
He meant like guide points and shit, like hubs.
Oh, you mean like actually in game itself?
I'm gonna show you where to go. No, they don't. They never. All that shit.
Well, like,
nah.
It's back in the day.
That's the reason why it's an old game.
How many games come out in a year now? Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Sit there and be like, okay, well, I have to let the player figure this out because they'll get tired and move on to the next game.
Yeah.
Think back to the NES days, the Genesis days, where it was months, years before, like you maybe get like 10 games a year.
That's a solid point.
You got to make that shit last.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And that's why some of the games are so hard. They're not hard because they're trying to be like intentionally hard. They have to be.
Dark Souls.
Otherwise, you'll beat it in like 10 minutes, and then you're like, oh shit. Like, I mean, I finished the first Dragon Warrior game with a guide in 11 to 12 hours. Now imagine not having that guide and just walking into a zone and just getting stomped.
Yeah.
Because like if you leave like the starter hub, like the little castle that you start at, if you don't stay in that little area until at least level 3 or 4, then like you just like walk up like between a mountain and you'll start running into monsters that are like twice as strong as you.
Yeah, that's a Dark Souls before Dark Souls. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
But like when
Super
you
goblins.
like if without a guide, I would have just walked up there and been like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Hey, let's do it. Oh God, I got smashed.
Well, the worst part is from those games. So Shining does it, and Dragon Warrior does it. If you die, it's not game over. You just lose half your gold.
Okay. So what
And
happens?
the
So
only
when
way to get new like a gear is you have to have gold. And the price of better gear just increases exponentially. So say you fuck up in a fight with like 3,000 gold. Now you're at 1,500 gold.
Yeah, that's.
And the sword you needed was 3,500. Well, now you got to grind all that money back.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That blows.
All right,
So
switch
it
game.
wasn't like a hey.
So yeah.
We're not going to give you a game over. We're just going to let you keep playing, but we're just going to punish you by taking your money.
Change games.
All right, time to play Shiny.
I'm changing something else.
Do we want to move on to likes and dislikes of last year?
Yeah, we can do that.
I still want to play one more game.
Sure.
Oh, go ahead.
Another big one I played was, and you mentioned it, Preston, was
Divinity.
That was a big one for me last year.
Yeah, I mean, like again, that's another game where sunk so much time into, but haven't done anything.
Yeah. Like I think
That's Red Dead.
only
Yeah, that is exactly Red Dead.
So much time, but
third act, I think maybe.
Nothing's completed.
But
Oh,
it's
see.
so much to do, and I haven't beat it yet.
Let's
Jesus.
see. Divinity. Original Sin 2. 106 hours of playtime.
Uh-huh.
I am still in chapter 1.
God damn.
What have you done?
Yeah, what are you doing?
So, to be fair, that 106 hours does count the beta that they put out.
Oh, okay.
That also...
Well, how long was the beta is the question, I guess.
Well, the beta was the...
First chapter.
Was like the first chapter.
First chapter.
But what it is the first time I played the beta, I did a regular, just played the game.
Okay.
I did a murder hobo run where I killed everyone.
nice.
So if I finished your quest line, I killed you.
Uh-huh.
I murdered every non-playable character in the game.
That sounds like me in Assassin's Creed 3.
So essentially, like, I would walk through the game and have nobody there.
No more buying skills.
But, well, no, I was also, like, pickpocketing everyone to get all their loot. I had so much money that I could just buy everything I needed. And when I played it legit, I was like, fuck, how do I get money to buy these? I'm not pickpocketing.
I'll be the
I'm
store
not
clerk
stealing.
today.
And then I've started it over a couple times. So
How do you
I've played
change
it for myself, and then I have a playthrough with me and my wife. So there's, like those hours add up together.
Yeah.
I will start it and I'll like, oh man, I really want to play again, and then I'll start a new game. It's like it's the Skyrim
Effect.
It's the Skyrim effect, yeah.
yeah.
Where if you don't play for so long, you just
That
quit,
too.
and then you start over.
You just do it.
Like,
You get so far in the game, like, fuck it, I'm just starting over. Fuck it, we'll just start over.
Alright, so Skyrim, 96 hours on the standard, 14 hours on special edition.
You guys are ridiculous.
I couldn't tell you. I gotta look it up, but yeah, I feel
And
like
I've
something
yet
like
to
that.
finish
I thought
Skyrim.
you were similar.
That's crazy.
I love that game.
I just don't. I never understood. I never got it, man.
You gotta put yourself in the role, bro. I don't know why. Like, there was one run where I was just like a straight up meathead, yo.
Uh-huh.
No intelligence, nothing, bro. I'm not just all strength. That's it. You just run around just demolishing shit. So funny, yo. Hitting people with clubs and shit. That's the best.
I couldn't.
I
don't know. I don't know why.
Modding helped, like, with a few hours.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't
Just
got-
digging around with
yeah, I don't
the
have
mods and stuff.
Spend all the time anymore. I can just dump everything.
Yeah.
Just still have fun.
Yeah.
Any other games we want to discuss from last year?
Anybody? Once, twice?
All right. Likes and dislikes of it last year.
What you got?
All right. Well, New Gundam Breaker is where I'm gonna start.
Oh god,
it's
here
a
we
game
go.
I want to love.
Oh god, here we go.
Gundam game sounds fun.
I like it. I don't love it.
Yeah.
And my biggest takeaway from that is it's a different company who made it.
Yeah.
I get that. But the biggest issue is you can only carry, 4 or 5 parts at one time. And then you have to go drop them off. And then go pick up more. And then go drop them off. Whereas in older Gundam Breaker games, is every part you collect just automatically gets sent to, like, the celestial storage. And then at the end of the battle, you own them.
What other game
this
did
one,
that?
it's like, well, you have to go gather the parts, but now you're full. Oh, now you gotta go drop them off. But then your chest moves every time you drop it off.
Oh, fuck no.
And then there's things going on, like, oh, you have to do this to get points so that way you don't lose the fight.
Yeah.
And I think my biggest gripe with one of those issues is there is one map where I cannot get S rank on.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because the person just wants to fight so bad. And I'm like, no, we need to gather shit. We need to get this. We need to do that. And it's like, you're trying to build up your points. And she just wants to go after the boss. You have to try to do every extra action faster than she can.
Oh, that's not fun.
And it's just like, bitch, calm the fuck.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. When I played it, it was very almost like it was forced what you had to do, rather than letting you actually build your own Gundam and enjoy. It was very linear in a sense.
Gotcha.
And I think going off of that, like, older Gundam games, you could buy Gundam kits. Essentially, like, oh, I want Tallgeese, so I'll just go buy Tallgeese set. This one, if you wanted another Gundam, you had to fight it and hope it dropped the parts you want. Whereas there's no, like, oh, there's
that
no
sounds like, what was it, Xenoverse 2. Xenoverse 2 and Xenoverse 1 are both like that. Where, my famous story from Xenoverse 1 is I got up at 8 o'clock on a Saturday, started up Xenoverse 1 just because I was going to fuck around in it, and was trying to get Super Saiyan, and didn't actually pick up the Super Saiyan, because the way to get skills in that game is you have to go through and do the quest line, obviously, or whatever, and then you have an RNG factor where it's a chance that you might get it. I like I said, I started at 8 in the morning. I don't think I actually picked up Super Saiyan until, 2 o'clock in the afternoon? And that's me replaying that entire mission over and over and over and over and over. And oh god, yeah, that's oh, and that just happened with me today with Legends. You know, like I said, I spent like $50 on Dragon Stones or whatever the fuck they're called, Chrono Crystals, whatever they're called, to try to get this unit. Yeah, I think so. I think the RNG guys just dislike me a lot. They just fucking hate me. But yeah, no, I spent all my crystals and did not get the God Vegeta. Yeah, I spent all 50 and then didn't get it. I was so close, but it was so far away. Yeah, right. It's a great way to spend $50.
Fuck.
Next time you can just give it a name.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Just give it out.
I can spend it for you.
I'll dress up like Vegeta.
Yeah, bro. My Discord logo is there for you.
I will say, other than that, I mean, like I said, I liked Gundam. I didn't really have many games I disliked
Last year.
And I think my biggest thing with that is we all worked in the industry for a few years, and some of us have gone back.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I think being in the industry, you feel like you have to play every game, or at least look up every game for knowledge's sake.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And you have to try to sell that it's good, Or, you know, if you just know it's not a good game, you try your best to talk them out of it without saying the game is shit. If you have to, like, you know, maybe try to nudge them towards the right area. Is I've become a lot more selective
with what you play.
When I play.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with not needing to know every game. Even when I worked at the Next and I worked in the games department, I didn't feel the same pressure to know every game like I did at GameStop.
Well, I mean, even at GameStop, you really, I mean, you're not. I guess you're not pressured by the company per se.
By the company.
I guess it's because it's a specialty store. When people walk into that store, they expect you to have some kind of opinion on everything. So you feel like you have to, like, to do them a service. You feel like you have to go through at least try something. Yeah, and I think, well, I know what's helped me, you know, since I've gone back. What helped me through most of it was just when somebody brings me up a game that I haven't played, bro, I have no idea. I got no clue what that is about. You are asking the wrong guy. And they're, you know, most times they're pretty cool about it, but there's occasional, you're a game supposed to play everything, supposed to know it. No, I'm not, dude. I'm not.
And I think places like working with people like Billy, working in places like Janif, where they hired people who played a variety of games.
It's always a good idea, yeah.
There were, you know, I don't know, but someone else might. Right. Go talk to this person, they are the shooter. Go talk to this person, they're the action-adventure guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it made it a little easier, but you still felt like, and I mean, I don't feel this way now, like, you would watch E3, you would watch every goddamn video game trailer, you would watch every fucking interview clip, what the fuck ever came out about a game, so you could talk it up to a customer.
Well, I do that now just for fun.
Yeah. But now it's just like, now I'm like, if I want a game, if I know I'm going to play it, I stop looking up everything about it until I have it in my hand.
That's what I do if
you really want something.
Yeah, if I truly want a game, I do the same.
Like,
I don't know.
I watched the first trailer, and I'm like, I want that.
So,
and
take my money.
Take my money.
Take my money.
I don't know. I guess I'm just opposite because when I see a game that I really want, like, I have to know everything about it, and it's to my detriment sometimes. Like, I've tried to avoid spoilers, but I just can't help it. Like, I have to watch all of it. I've got to know it all. I got to know all before I go in there. And I think it's warped my perception on things, and it's not so much for me now. It's like if I spoil something for myself, it no longer becomes, well, what is going to happen. It now becomes, I know what's going to happen. How are they going to make that happen? So it's forced me to go from caring about the events to caring more about what leads up to the events. Yeah. So I mean, for me, it's kind of made things more enjoyable. But I know I definitely, if I could go back to being like, let me go black out on everything, I 100% would try to do that.
See, I think I'm somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll see the first, and then they have like, I'll use an Anthem as a big one.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to know how the in-store and all that was, but I was more interested in how the javelins were going to work to kind of decide how I wanted to play it. So I researched a little bit, but don't dive in enough that it ruins anything.
Got you. Actually, segues very nice bringing up Anthem, because I think our next topic was, demos versus betas?
We're going to do looking forward to's, or we
can say looking forward to's for last.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I think Brian set us up really nice with that nice little segue there, so, take advantage. Advantage of, and yep.
Yeah.
Yep, words.
Advantage,
yep.
Advantage. All right. Yeah.
This was Preston's big topic, big rant that he wanted to get.
I'm gonna let y'all go first.
You gonna let us go first?
Because I have feelings.
I was about to say he probably has some strong.
That's.
When did you develop feelings? As long as I've known you, never had feelings.
No. These aren't good feelings.
That makes no sense.
There's a big difference. I have feelings on this topic.
So
I have ranted on this topic for a couple days. So I'm gonna let y'all go.
Well, no, I mean,
Okay, I guess I'll set it up. So the biggest thing is how people in the games industry are perceiving betas. So a lot lately it's been developers are playing the betas and putting out the reviews, and developers are out there, one, criticizing people on how they're playing their demo or playing their beta, and the other thing is people. I want to save the second for another time. But really, are betas now? Like, are we actually changing things in these games, or are we just paying to play a demo of a game that is already pretty much done?
I think that depends. I think that depends on the game. I think it depends on the game, and I think it depends on when the beta actually launches. I think games that are closer to release dates. So we'll take Jump Forces for an example. That definitely should not have been a beta. That definitely should have been called a demo. Because that was definitely more of a because it was so close to release. I can see the argument for calling it a beta because you're doing server testing, but I think when me and you talked about this topic initially, you brought up a good point about how in traditional betas, there's usually a spot for you to go and give your thoughts and opinions on how you perceive the game, your issues with the games, and what you liked, what you didn't like, things like that. And I think that's a very good point, that a lot of these so-called betas don't really give us the option to explain things. I think the idea of a beta has now become for the most part, a server stress test.
Yeah, they hop in, they're like, okay, something's not going on.
Yeah, to see what it's going to be like with a lot of people all at once.
Yeah, I have a very simplistic thought of like betas and demos. I thought beta is just for like fucking online games that are coming out and they want to, like you said, test the server. And demos are like, here's a preset amount of the game that you're gonna be able to play.
Well, I mean, talking on that mentality, whatever the fuck the word is, going along with that thought process, the betas are kind of the same thing, because betas traditionally only give you a small subsection of the game. Yeah. They don't really give you the entire game. I mean, unless you're doing an Anthem demo or beta, and you have the entire map that you can for the most part explore. Yeah. Brian, you got some thoughts on it, bro?
I still think it varies on the company, the publisher, who's doing it.
Yeah.
I do think some are better than others. What is it? For Divinity is what, Lionheart?
I gave up on Divinity. Or Division.
No, Divinity.
Oh,
Divinity.
You're talking...
Original Sin. Yeah. Like, when they did their alpha and beta, I feel like they actually, because they're a smaller company, they actually listened to people with Kickstarter and...
You're talking about Larian.
Yeah.
Okay. They actually listened and tweaked and adjusted, whereas you get a company like EA, who's so vast, they're going to do more of the publisher, side of it, and it's not going to be as consumer influence, which is, that's really dumb on their part, because that's people who buy it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
There we go.
So, I guess my first question is has anyone, I think, Brian, you have, but has anyone been a part of an actual NDA'd beta?
No, I haven't. No. Can't say I have.
Yeah,
I think
probably me and you were probably the only two.
So, A real beta, and I'm going to say real beta, is you are literally signing a piece of paper, electronically, however, that states you will not record, show anything about, talk about, breathe on, look at anything about this game. Like, you can't talk about this game.
Yeah.
To anyone.
Yes.
When you load it up, the screen is your name, your information is plastered on that screen. So if you do upload anything, they know who did it. They know where to find you. You aren't going to just be like, oh, well, you know, I didn't. You actually have a forum that you will go to and bug report and stress test. And there are people who get into actual betas. Because, I mean, there are some where you can sign up for and get NDA betas who are there to... You have two people. You have testers and you have players.
Yeah.
Players are there and they just want to play the game. They're seeing this as an early demo where they can get in and play the game. Testers are there running into wall, trying to glitch the system. They're doing things to break the game, which is what the developers are looking for.
See, but that's the role of what a... Because, I mean, the tester that you're talking about, to me, sounds like a QA tester. That sounds like a traditional part of...
And I think what we're moving towards is more towards they're wanting to put that out on a larger scale. So they're
outsourcing, yeah.
They're asking like to pay to play it, but they're not giving them the tools.
The proper tools, yeah.
And if they do, like if they find bugs and they report them, 9 times out of 10, the game's done. The game on whole is done. So what they're going to do is they're going to make that day one patch and patch it out. They're not going to go back and fix the game. They're just going to be like, oh, well, we're just going to patch it or never touch it. And I feel like if you're going to call it a beta, let it be an actual beta. Test, let people test it, let people report what's wrong, and actually fix it. Give enough time in the development cycle to fix it.
One thing
and I will call out, I've been in chat and I've been reading people. I'm not calling anyone out, mainly because, I mean, more of a podcast setting. But it was brought up that it's not a beta, it's a public test. You're testing the stress testing for like jump force and stuff. That's what that is meant to do. That's not a beta. That is a stress test.
Yeah.
Call it what it is. And the whole idea of buying into a beta, so like pre-ordering, getting the collector's edition, whatever to get into the beta, is you're not going to get testers, you're going to get players. Yeah. And I think companies know that, and I think what they're doing is they want the people who are going to love the game regardless a bigger place. So minus all the flaws that come out, if I paid money to play this, I probably want to. And I'm going to like it. There may be flaws, but I'm going to write those flaws off as it's beta. But then...
They're giving it an excuse. Yeah, they're disguising it as an excuse for...
Right. But then when it comes into that, when it's beta bleeds into its launch, they realize, oh shit, this wasn't fixed. Well, how is it going to get fixed if...
They don't know about it.
If you don't report it.
Yeah.
I think one of like the biggest call-outs on doing like a beta was with Divinity. Exactly. They made it where, you know, they locked you into a section on Divinity 1. Mm-hmm. Where like they basically put up barriers around the town where it's like you could play up into the town, and then there were barriers everywhere and you can't go further. Well, some of us who were there testing figured out a way to get past the barriers.
Uh-oh.
And we made it into parts of the game where it was actually still, I mean, it was populated. There were enemies to fight. That things to do, but because there was no quest line, you weren't gaining the necessary experience to fight some of these things.
Yeah.
So I literally made it to a zone where I got one-shotted by a boss. And I was just like, well, shit. I know where he is now coming forward, but at the same point in time, I was nowhere near where I needed to be to get to that part. And the funny thing is so there are those people who will report stuff like that and people who will not. And I'm going to say I didn't report that you could get over. But that was mainly because I wanted to see what was out there. I wanted to see how big of a world did they actually make for us.
You're trying to explore, yeah.
And I knew it wasn't going to be the full game. I knew it was just like that zone. But you could tell that they locked you off with like a barricade. But there was a way past it. But there were other people who did report. And what that did was it got the attention of the developers, which, I mean, it should. But they locked the barriers down. So there was a skill you could use to get past the barrier. Well, now they, I guess, changed the height rating of the barrier to not allow for the skill to work anymore. So there was no way to get out and, break the world, essentially. And I thought of it as a good and a bad.
A good and a bad
thing,
thing.
yes. They listened. They, fixed an issue.
Yeah.
So to speak. But at the same point in time, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're here to figure out what's wrong.
So I guess the problem becomes marketing of the actual public. I guess you could, like you said before, I believe you said, what was it, testing? But yeah, the public test. I mean, you want to change the marketing to public test as opposed to calling it an actual beta, because from what it sounds like your big issue is that you're taking it more from an actual inside baseball, baseball, what's the word I'm looking for? Inside baseball approach, that's what I'm looking for. Approach where beta means something. Like you actually being part of a beta means something. Whereas I don't think these companies are looking at betas as meaning the same thing that it means when you are in like a software development mindset. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, that's exactly the point. Bleeding a little into that is people with Anthem dogging on the beta, dogging on Anthem because of the beta, and developers getting mad about that. And it's like, well, I mean, people are entitled to their opinions. That
100%.
Well, one thing I will say about that is they didn't like beta. They labeled it a demo. That was their fault. They did it was a VIP
demo. Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah, they did. They did.
Okay.
So I think people had a right to be a little harsher on that because you labeled it a demo.
Yeah, if they called it a demo and not a beta, then yes. And speaking on demos, I think I want to say every game should get a demo because everyone should have the opportunity to test a game before they.
Yeah,
however,
I think so. Yeah.
The problem with demos is you can hurt them up. Because you're essentially taking just a small portion. Now, I'm not saying every developer will, but you take a small portion of the game and you are putting that out into the world. And that you can make it run as smooth as you want because it's so much smaller than the actual game.
The smaller application is going to be, yeah.
You can make the graphics look a little bit better because you don't have to render so much other things. Yeah. I miss the days of PlayStation Magazine. And you just exactly.
Yeah.
You would get that demo disc, and it's like play
boxes.
How I got into Final Fantasy was 10. 10 came on the disc.
Fucking going to Pizza Hut, getting demo disc.
Spyro.
But you don't get demos anymore. I remember, and I love Sony, but we gotta call Sony out. for their every game is going to have a demo thing that they talked about with the PS4. Where the fuck is that?
Honestly, I forgot all about that until you just said that.
And honestly, I'm going to say this. I forgot about it too. I was in thinking about topics for this and then the whole demo versus beta thing. It hit me. I was like, wait a second. We were promised a demo for every game.
Damn.
Where the fuck are my demos?
That shit ain't happen.
Right.
And the thing is like I said, I'm so much more like careful when I buy a game.
Yeah.
Now, because that's $60.
Oh yeah, that's money.
That I'm like, and I've gotten away from that mentality of, oh, if I don't like it, I'll trade it in against. Oh, if I don't like it, I'll give it away. Like, why should that be?
Your money should be the money, because either way, because even if you end up playing it and you don't like it, you're giving that money to the company or the publisher or whatever. You're rewarding them, and the idea that it's a bad game, you're rewarding them for shit service. Just like you wouldn't pay for, plumber coming in and fucking up your house. Sure. You shouldn't pay for
like the waiters.
Or the waiters, yeah, like the waiters. Yeah, the waiters not, being, yeah, like we talked about last night during the stream,
Which you can catch.
Yeah. A waiter, giving you bad service. You don't tip extra for the.
With any.
With anything, yeah. You should have the option to get the. Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, I would love to have a beta or a demo for every game, but then that you're asking the developers to be on it. And while I feel like some would, I feel like others wouldn't.
Yeah.
I feel like some would want to. They're gonna chase that dollar.
Well, I think that's. We should be careful when we make that assumption.
No. What I'm saying is I get, like, not every developer is gonna try that, but some will.
Well, no. What I'm saying is because when we say developer, we know that we're talking company. We're talking about the development company. We're not talking about the specific individual software engineers that are going through and making the game.
No.
We're talking about I think we should make sure that we're clarifying that, and it sounds stupid to say, but I think we should definitely clarify the companies, not the developers, because I think that's part of the problem that we have with something like, just taking Anthem for example. You had developers speaking out on, individual software people speaking out on issues, people talking about the game and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, whether it's the game is shit or the game is good, somebody is still, it's not the programmer's fault for the game ending up the way it is.
Before it goes out.
Exactly. It's somebody. It's the overall company. Does that make sense? Is that fair?
One thing I want to go back to, Preston, you said something about not giving tools for testers to inform, developers, companies. I think that's a big draw on that. Is I think they're trying to focus social medias.
Yeah.
Instead of giving the stuff like in game to give feedback. And I think that's a big downside, I think, to it, because it's not a direct.
It's not direct contact with people. Yeah.
I mean, how hard is it to put a little button to click on, report a bug?
Right.
I mean, even if it's, or hey, if you find an issue, tweet at this handle, and this is where all bug reports go.
Give something, yeah. But a lot of times they don't. They just get paraded at EA or whoever, and it gets blown way out of proportion in a sense.
Well, the biggest part is, again, the people who are the loudest on issues are the players, not the testers.
Sure. Because
they want their demo to be perfect.
Right.
They're not looking at it as a beta.
Right.
They are looking at it as, this is what I'm going to be playing in a month's time when the game comes out. Did I tweet at them or did I write them? There was a game, Edge of Eternity.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go to this because it's an early access game.
Yeah.
So technically not a beta, technically not a demo. It's that middle ground. We're released, but we're not done. I reached out to them because I backed it on Kickstarter. You did too.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, you're now releasing your early access. I was like, what's your policy for... And I'm going to read you my direct message to them because I did message them. What's your policy for streaming the game? Besides the obvious stating it's early access and not indicative of the final product. Thinking of streaming it a bit, but wanted to know if that was okay and if there were any rules I'd need to follow. Thanks in advance. So, if anyone's ever done like an actual test, you're told what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
If you're allowed to stream it or capture video, you are told to put, this is not the final product, this is a demo, this is a beta, this is a whatever. So I wanted to know what were my restrictions. And they came back to me and said, just stating that the game is early access is enough. Perfectly okay for you to stream it, have fun. So they're like, hey, we want people to see this, we want people to know about it, but also let them know, hey, we're not done. So any bugs you may find, any issues you see are probably because it's early access. And I did find a couple. Like, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe this is... Like, I teleported back, to an earlier part of the game, and all the treasure chests had respawned. And I was like, I don't know if that's...
I think that's supposed to be a thing.
Like, I can just, like, keep respawning back here and just gather everything over.
Everything that you need,
what
yeah.
it was is I think they updated the client. And so it only remembered a certain portion from where I had started.
Yeah.
So where I started and forward, all the chests that I had already gotten empty. But when I went back, all the old ones that I'd done from a previous build,
they were
back to
forgotten. Yeah, and they reset them.
Openable. So I grabbed all the stuff again, but I still had all my inventory. So I like essentially doubled down.
Yeah.
And then, but when I did it a third time, they were all gone. Like they were already open. So it's like, okay, so they've realized the issue here. And it wasn't like an exploit, it was just an update to the game.
Gotcha.
But you see people like, oh, this is a demo, this is a beta of X game, let me stream it. But they don't take the appropriate measure in informing the viewers what they are watching. So now you're essentially saying, this is what the game is going to be like, without actually saying
this is what the game... Yeah, because you get people that come in and just watch it.
Without that qualifier of, this is a demo, this is a beta, this is not indicative of the final product, you are essentially stating, this is what you'll be playing on release day. And now people see, oh man, look at that bug, look at this glitch, look at this, look at that. This is going to be bad when it comes out. And I think... that's a lot of where the negativity is coming from, is we're not accurately representing what we're...
So who do you think that falls on? Do you think that falls on does that fall on the development company or the publisher or whoever's releasing the public access? Do you think that falls on them to relay that messaging to everybody or to the people? Because for the most part, let's take a game like Jump Force. Jump Force did a pretty good job of, if you were just jumping in. No, but it did a pretty good job of, like, when you first started up that whatever you want to call it, it said, this is, a beta test, this is in no way, doesn't show the final product, blah, blah, blah. But do you think there should be a watermark throughout the game? Do you think that responsibility falls on them? Do you think that responsibility falls on the streamer? Does it fall on the content creator or whoever is showing it off?
I think it's whoever is distributing it. They should have something on there, unless they just like, hey, I'm ready to have my game out there.
Yeah.
It is alpha or beta, whatever. Whoever's playing it, it's on them to let other people know that it's, hey, it is a beta. But
I guess
I think it's on them, dude.
I think that's fair.
They're putting it out there.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, and you should let people know that. Yeah, why should it follow me?
So I think it's twofold.
Yeah.
Stating at the very beginning, hey, this is... I cannot stream that.
I feel that.
Not show that screen. Watermarking, beta, demo, this is, or like having a hard-coded, this is a beta demo, not indicative of the final thing, falls to the development company, but it also falls to the person playing. You are just as important in that messaging as the company itself. Because at the end of the day, say they just put it at the very top of the screen that just says, this is a alpha, not indicative. I crop that fucker out. Now I'm just saying it's the game. Like, we have to have
someone does that,
solid marketing around everything.
So do you think then that we need to go back to having gatekeepers because that's the beauty of having something like Twitch right now, is that there are, I mean, there are no more, like, there's no need for me now to go to or try to get a job at like a IGN or a GameSpot, because if my goal is to become a live streamer, or to essentially play games for a living, and talk about games for a living, that's the beauty of Twitch, is I can use Twitch to just go ahead, pick up a game, pick up a demo, pick up whatever, and stream that myself. Do you think we need to go back to having gatekeepers when it comes to, because in my head, I hate to sound black and white, but I think it's black and white. It's either we have access to this and the developers or the development company put watermarks in their game that, hey, this is what it needs to be, and then they tell you that, hey, you need to have this up there, or we go back to not having demos, betas, etc., etc. That's how I see it. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, no, it does. I was going to see if anyone would jump in, but it's about my nonsense.
All you spout.
My issue, and this is going to kind of bleed over to the next topic we're going to do next week, is you can't say, okay, so you're saying, do we need IGN review companies? Yes, but also no.
No. I'm not saying do we need them. I'm not saying
the reason I say that is, and you're saying that using them as to the content.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. We need them, but we don't. And the reason is you can't have someone who always plays one type of game be on staff.
Yeah.
Because you can't have your JRPG guy. What if that year is JRPG light? What do they do?
Yeah.
But what if it's shooter heavy? Now you're gonna have to be like, yo, JRPG guy, I need you to play shooter.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yes, we should have watermarking, or at least something that can't be taken out of the shot. That lets you know that it is a demo, beta, not indicative of. But also, we as, content creators, we as streamers, YouTubers, what have you, also owe that to our viewers to be honest about what we're doing. Am I playing a demo? Am I playing a beta? Am I playing the final product?
Yeah.
Like if you don't let that be known, you're just as at fault in my mind as the company for not explicitly coming out and saying
that this is
what they're doing.
Agreed.
Okay.
Only because at the end of the day, whether you're big or small in this industry, someone looks at your opinion and will buy or not buy something based on it.
Off your opinion, yeah.
I will say that I know someone from my channel went and bought a game because I played it and was having a lot of fun with it, but also didn't see it as much fun playing it because it was more of me as a person and a personality playing that game that made it so much fun.
Gotcha.
And it was more the commentary behind the game that I was giving,
as opposed to the actual game itself.
It seemed fun, and it was. For me, it was fun. But for them, without that commentary, it was a little less than what they expected.
Gotcha.
Because, you can make the jokes yourself, but, at the end of the day, me making those jokes and you enjoying that is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And you playing that same game and going, fuck.
There's no jokes.
Where's the voice? Where's the voice?
Where's that dialogue? It's not there. So I think that yes, even smaller creators have a voice and can influence people to buy things.
Okay.
So we owe it to them to be honest about them.
Fair enough. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. It makes sense. So what happens? What do you think?
I mean, there's no, and I'm going to say this, there's no answer to this.
Yeah.
The conversation, hold on, let me see if I can pull up my Google Doc on this.
Google
because
Doc.
you know there is one. But there's no good answer. There's no right answer for this. Purely because at the end of the day, I can not state what, if a company were to take action against me for not stating something, then people would see that and be like, oh, look at them, they're trying to silence creative.
Yeah.
And so that looks bad on the company. But also, how much of a dickbag am I?
For not doing that.
Right. But your people, like your community is more going to have your back than a company's back.
That's true.
Because you're smaller corporation at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're not a big, huge corporation. You're a smaller, independent family. It's David versus Goliath.
Yeah, that's good.
It's an imperfect system. We all kind of, and I'm gonna pull from an interaction I had once at GameStop where a guy comes in, asked me about a game, and I hadn't played it. I hadn't even fucking heard of it. I was like, I don't know. I haven't played it. I don't know anything about it. His response to me was, well, how am I supposed to know if it's good if you don't?
I've never heard this.
And my answer to this guy in the store was independent thought. At the end of the day, I can't be your voice on what's good or bad.
Yeah.
You are that voice. I'm gonna read.
I won't get the game then.
When you do know a little bit of the games, you sell it to a point that it does make other people excited to play it. And I think that's one thing I picked up in a sense from you when we worked at 1231. Because that's one thing I will say. If you are excited about it, it is always easier to get someone else excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not all games have been fun. There's some been hell that you've drugged me into. 40-hour grinds and only level 36.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not like that anymore. That game is completely different.
And I love the fact that I gave no name and you.
That game is completely different now.
Completely.
But yeah, no, like, I'm gonna read what I put. Buy games you are sure you want. If you don't like it, oh well, that happened. This is why I've taken to only buying games I'm sure I want.
Yeah.
I'm no longer thinking of just trading it in when I'm done. If I'm not 100%, I watch gameplay after it comes out to see if I like what I see.
Yeah.
I have stopped looking at review trailers or views and trailers and pre-marketing material.
It's an old way of thinking.
That, I'm going to want this game. Now, there are some companies who could just give me a goddamn name of a game, and I'm like, here's $1,000. Shut up. Atlas being one of them. Atlas put out a fucking game, and I'm like, where's my fucking card?
Yes is another one.
Yeah, there are companies where they can just make a game, and I'm like, you know what? Just charge me $1 million for a lifetime subscription to every game you ever fucking put out. But there are other people where I'm like, nah, I kind of need to look at what you're doing.
Yeah, you need to
being
play
a
first,
big
yeah.
part of that. I used to be like, Ubisoft making a game, give it to me.
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, Ubisoft's making a game?
Again? Wow, didn't they just do one 2 months ago?
EA being another one, and more for Need for Speed now. Damn. I used to be like, Need for Speed's coming out? Fuck yes, let's go. And then lately it's been Need for Speed's coming out. Fuck me.
Oh, fuck.
Let's go.
Can we get like just a remaster of Underground 1 and 2?
Oh.
Shit.
Don't change anything. Just make it look pretty and give me the game.
I think more games need to follow the RE2 style, and more remakes anyway. Not games, excuse me, more remakes.
Bit, but still have that classic.
Yeah.
I'm saying all that.
Updated.
I haven't even fucking played the fucking game.
I'm
just seeing so many clips, and I'm just like, man.
RE2 is a beautiful game. RE2 is a beautiful game. It really looks like a game from like now, like a game that came out now.
To happen with a lot of games.
But does it still feel like the original?
See, I can't tell you that because I never played the original. From what I've been told, it's somewhat similar. It's not as tanky as original RE2 was, but it
probably got similar jump scares at certain points and shit.
For the most part, yeah. I just couldn't. I couldn't keep playing because I can't handle that much anxiety. Yeah. That's too much anxiety for me.
PT.
I just can't fucking do it.
PT.
But yeah.
Quite honest, Preston.
You know, right?
But so I got called out in chat for not giving an opinion on games. I was told to not be such a douche and do a little research.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna say, you obviously weren't here for the beginning of this. I did. Like, when I worked at GameStop at the very beginning, Brian and Mike can both attest to this.
Yep.
I watched every goddamn trailer, read every article, read every interview, looked at every piece of artwork, promotional shit, to the point where I knew everything about a game before it came out.
Yeah.
As much as the developer wanted us to know about a game.
I mean, it was
to the point where I disliked Watch Dogs only because I knew too much. I knew way more about Watch Dogs before it came out than I ever wanted to do. Then when it came out, like, I started playing it and I'm like, I already know what I need to do.
Well, to be fair, there really wasn't much there to know about.
But I'm saying, like, there were parts of Watch Dogs where it would have been, you could have gotten in trouble for not knowing what you were doing.
Yeah.
And getting caught up. And like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do here? Like, how am I supposed to get away? But because you've seen this fucking trailer played out 30 goddamn times.
You know exactly how you should get out. Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I did. After a point, I did kind of like, you know what? Leave him alone. Like, he is perfectly fine to call me out.
Oh shit, is he getting lit over in the chat?
It's fine. Let him call me out. I'm totally fine with it. I have an open chat policy, unless of course you're like a total asshole. I'm not going to mute you. I have an open chat policy.
Challenge.
Well, I mean, I know coming from my friends, it's all in good fun. I did give up that only because
you did it for so long. Yeah, you can only do it for so long.
I moved to a store and I moved to a manager who cared more about us knowing what we liked
as opposed to what you didn't like
than knowing everything.
Yep.
We were basically hired on as RPG guy. This one played sports titles, although he also plays RPGs. Played shooters. We had people who you could go talk to about a game.
Yeah.
If I didn't know, I could easily go be like, hey, go talk to so-and-so. They might know a little bit more. I'm a PlayStation guy. Dude over there is Xbox.
Right.
There was a time when you felt the need to know everything, and then you didn't. And honestly, had I still been working there, I'd still have the mentality of, no, I'm going to know what I know, and that's going to be it. I left, one, to go back to school, but because, like, you kind of grow out of some of the you say you got screwed out of $70 or tailback customer service. You made a choice to buy that game.
100%. I think that's a very accurate thing, and I think that as a consumer, I think we need to take more responsibility on what we purchase, when we purchase things, and the thing, what we purchase. And yeah, that's really the only two things we need to take responsibility for. We need to do the research, the proper research into figuring out if this actually is for us, and if this isn't for us. And I think that that does kind of go back to making sure, as us being content creators, that goes back to us making sure that we are labeling things appropriately, and we're identifying things when things are betas, and goes back to the development companies identifying when things are betas and when things are not completed products and when they are completed products. But no, I 100% agree that goes back to the consumer being more responsible and taking it upon themselves to say, hey, and this is not an attack against anybody, if you have someone that's, thinking this is an attack, this is just my honest opinion about it, is like you're about to spend $60. You're about to spend $60 that took X amount of time for you to get. You're pretty much you're exchanging time for time, is what it is, in my opinion. And
you expect some type of quality. I mean, it's all, you're right. It's all,
I think you just need to, need to be paying attention.
Get the game. If you don't like the game, don't get the game, man.
Well, if you're unsure, wait for more. Wait for more stuff to come out about the game.
Yep. If you're unsure, then definitely. But if you want the game,
and that's kind of the beauty of the way things, like how open things are now with social media like YouTube and Twitch, and you can find people who have like interests like that have like interests, and you can watch and wait for them to maybe get something, or you can reach out to them and ask them what they think about X game or thing, and if their opinion, if you know that their opinions line up with your opinions most times, then you go for it. There's
stuff out there. There's always information about the game that you want out there.
And there is always going to be the off chance where you goof and you accidentally, you buy something that maybe you thought, like you said, Preston, you had somebody that didn't have as much fun with something that you played, playing something that you played or that they watched you played, and then they went back and played and wasn't as much fun. You're going to have that, but you need to accept the responsibility that was your call to make.
Sometimes you're going to waste your money and buy the DLC for games that you never end up playing. It happens.
And I'm going to
I do it all the time.
The statement I wrote earlier. Buy games you are sure you want.
Yes.
If you don't like it, oh well. That happens.
Eat it. And trade it in for a quarter of what it's worth.
Because the thing is, at the end of the day, you said, I'm going to listen to this person's opinion and buy this game.
Yeah, it's...
Now, if you feel like they cheated you out of money, why did you listen to their opinion?
Stop being so influenced in your life. God damn. Make your own choices.
You either bought the game based off of their recommendation, which now don't listen to their recommendations.
Yeah.
Or at least when it comes to titles like that, whatever.
To oppose their recommendation, and now listen to their fucking opinion. I mean, I've gone to the movies and watched a movie because I thought I liked someone's opinion on a movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sat through the movie and I'm like, I just fucking wasted however much money this movie ticket was.
The obvious popcorn. Time can't get back.
Fucking watch this movie, and I thought it was trash. And now I don't listen to their opinion anymore.
Yeah.
You want my opinion on a game? Make it a JRPG. Make it something niche. Make it something I enjoy playing. But if you come at me and you go, hey man, should I buy Battlefield? Fucking no. Like, buy Battlefield, don't buy Battlefield. It doesn't give me a fucking lick of difference. No, I don't still work at GameStop. I haven't worked at GameStop in many moons.
Many moons.
I still work there. I mean, I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't know. I mean, like, you can say I should all you want, but I don't care.
That's not technically your job. You just work there, dude.
Oddcast. I'm going to call you out. Oddcast. You came in and you said I needed to do a better job. Well, we stated way back, I'm not a GameStop employee anymore. So,
I'll continue. I mean, because
and the thing is this, but you can't go to a GameStop and 100% expect everyone to know everything about a game.
Well, I see. No. Listen.
About every game? No.
Not everything about every game. I think that you should.
What he's saying.
But GameStop is a specialty store.
Right.
So when you go into GameStop, you expect that this is me still being technically an employee. You go into a GameStop as a consumer expecting the associate that you're working with to know something, to know a decent amount of something. I'm not saying that we have to be detailed. I feel like I'm kind of backtracking on what I said before, but I'm not saying that we have to be detailed on every game, possible, because there are going to be those obscure ones that we just don't know. But I do think that we should have, for the most part, you should have a general understanding of every big title, every major release that is coming out. I think you should have somewhat of an idea of what that game is about. Now, whether that game is for you or that game is not for you, that's a totally different topic. But I think you should have somewhat of an understanding of that game. So that way, because maybe like you said, Preston, we don't have somebody on staff right now that knows about JRPGs. Maybe we only have people on staff right now that know about, shooters and puzzle games. But the beauty about having somebody on staff that knows a little bit about everything is you guys can share that common knowledge amongst one another. So you get, I can go and talk, if I'm the shooter guy, I can go and talk to the RPG guy and get, the knowledge about certain RPGs. Or if I'm the RPG guy, I can go to the shooter guy and get certain knowledge on the about the shooters or whatever.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm not saying you need to go. What I'm saying is, I used to read up everything about every game possible.
So that.
But then when we moved to different locations and we got different managers, it became what you're talking about. Yeah. It was, okay, you know a lot about this game. Talk to this person about that game so they are more knowledgeable and they can speak to it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we shouldn't all have knowledge about games. I'm saying we shouldn't all be expected to have in-depth knowledge about it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
As someone who plays JRPGs, I'm not gonna have as strong of an opinion on shooters.
Yeah.
But what I will say, because I'm gonna use shooters as an example, because I'm not a big shooter guy, I do have opinions on what is a good shooter.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, to me, not a good shooter. Agreed. Reason being, I don't see them with the cover system. I like shooters where I can take cover. Ghost Recon.
Not really. They have I think this one has peek and shit.
Yeah, but it's not.
But there's no
a real cover.
Pressing against the wall, taking cover, and then pop shot like Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
Or Ghost Recon.
Gears of War has it, but that's not really how I want to play a game. I feel like those are more run and gunners.
Yeah.
And I like more tactical.
No, I like Ghost Recon.
Ghost Recon.
I like Ghost Recon.
I like Ghost Recon. I like Gears of War.
Yeah, I like Gears of War.
I like that too.
Yeah.
So
I suck.
That's where we started. Yeah, that's kind of where we started.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly.
You can't. Okay, so saying you wouldn't hire someone they aren't familiar with games, you're gonna not hire a lot of people.
Yeah.
You want a guy who pushes games out the door. Anyone can push a game out the door.
Oh yeah, anybody.
You're saying you want someone who pushes games out the door. Anyone can push a game out the door.
Yeah.
Anyone. You want people to push the right games to the right people.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about here. Is I can push the right games to the right people. You tell me what you want. You can please answer the question. Curious. What question?
It's crazy, man.
Oh, let me ask a question for those that actually work.
people still.
When you were hired by GameStop, were you told that you actually have to learn about every game and have massive knowledge? No.
No. Yeah, they don't. That's a falsehood. They don't tell you. They don't.
They literally on the application they ask what you're familiar with, like the system. Other than that,
I'll do the shit.
What I was saying is like,
yeah, what was yours?
It's crazy to me that people still buy like hard copies of games.
Well, Brandon, I got a question for you. You have never worked in the games industry, correct?
No.
How do you feel going into a GameStop and someone only caring about pushing a game on you?
I don't know. It might just be how I am, but when I go into a GameStop, I know exactly what the fuck I want. You know, so nobody's really going to sell me on anything. I know I'm not getting DLC for this. You can't push DLC on me. I know I don't want this game. I don't want to pre-order this.
Let me put it to you this way. Okay. You come into a GameStop and you're like, I want Call of Duty. Yeah. And I'm like, no. You don't want Call of Duty, man. You want this. You're going to feel some type of way about me trying to change your mind.
A little bit. Yeah, I'm like, okay, maybe he has some type of opinion about it, but I'm like, all right, Call of Duty just came out, bro. Like,
how you really know? How you really know?
Like,
no, not even that. It's just like it just came out, bro. Like I need to kind of get it. I just gotta get it.
I mean, the job at GameStop is to not make people feel good about buying a game.
That's not true. That is so not true. That is such a.
Oh, you trying to make you feel so uneasy.
Yeah.
I guess I'll get.
I can make you feel good about buying a game you are capable of. Like I can talk to, like when I worked at GameStop and when I was like deep into it, I could sell you on Call of Duty all goddamn day.
All day.
I could sell you Call of Duty. I could sell you Madden. I could sell you fucking 2K.
But that just goes with you being a good salesman. That doesn't have anything to do with you.
Yeah, I say you got.
That has nothing to do with your
the good time pause.
Your mind on what a good game is.
Yeah, because it's an opinion. It's an opinion.
Yeah.
So I can say all day to your blue in the face, Persona 5 is going to be the best goddamn game on fucking system all day. But if you're not a JRPG guy,
it's not going to be into you.
The 5 off of a recommendation that it's a great game, you're going to fucking hate it. You're going to be like, where's the fucking shooting?
There's a little shooting.
I'm saying, I know.
JRPGs,
that
genre is more like
reasons.
Classic Final Fantasy type style gaming, right? Whereas,
not always. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't. So, like Kingdom Hearts is an example of a JRPG. That's more real time.
I like that.
Final Fantasy 13. That's another one, but that's more real time. So
I like that actually.
Pretty much any anime like style is considered that.
See, if somebody pushed like, okay, let's say like a Persona, I heard from so many people that game is like really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, where can I get my entry point? You know, it's already 5 in. You know what I'm saying? You're saying Persona 5, dude. I haven't played like the first 4.
Yeah.
So how can you like try to get me to get onto JRPGs?
Yeah.
You know, like if you can recommend like, hey man.
The thing I will say about games like Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. And to a point, the new Shining games and the newer Dragon Quest games they're those titles in name only. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have played Persona 1 through 4 to understand 5.
Because they're all individual.
Honestly, I know people who could not play 1 and 2 because of how much they love 5. Because the style is so different, and it feels 1,000 times different playing 1 and 2.
Like I said, old game is old.
Old game is old.
Old game is old. It's like I said
yesterday. Halo
3.
I think you don't like GameStop. And I'm sorry you don't like GameStop. You said you were calling out a bad sale. I don't feel like, as a GameStop employee, I was a bad salesperson. So. You might, because of how I talk about GameStop now, after being out of it for
a few years.
Damn, got out of the game clean, bro.
13 years?
Yeah, it's been a
while.
Out
of that game clean.
Because I left 4 years, so I left in 2006. So yeah, 13 years.
Holy shit, it's been that long?
It's been 13 years.
2006? Are you sure? Because we worked together. Because I was...
No. Yeah, 2006. Because I started in 2002. No. Sorry.
No, it was later. Because I didn't start until 2011.
No, I started in 2008. Sorry.
God, you're still seeing like cartridges.
12.
Yeah.
I got out in 12, so it's been 6 years, not 16. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's been
I'm not
6
that
years
old.
since I've been out of the game. I'm selling GameStop. I have a difference of opinion with GameStop, even when I was working there.
I think
do I like their trade-in policy? No.
I think we're all right. So listen. So I think we're
no. Let's do this.
No. We don't. This is not the show like for GameStop bashing.
It is. Let's call it what it is. Do we like the? I don't work there, so I can talk however.
No, I'm not trying to talk about. No, I'm not saying that we shouldn't talk about their trade-in policy. It's got nothing to do with me being.
We're not going to go into. No, we're not going to a conversation.
This
is a surface level.
No, I'm not.
Get your GameStop shirt on and defend them.
I'm not trying to defend anybody. All I'm saying.
Their policy, no. Do I like their pre-owned game policy? No. Do I like their games? Probably not. I haven't been in a GameStop to buy a game in a very long time. I buy most of my games digitally.
Yeah.
Welcome to
but that's because like I said, and I've stated many times, buy what you want. Buy what you like.
Amen.
That's the name of this episode. Buy what you want, buy what you like.
The fact that you think that GameStop employees have some kind of voice with the company is highly. A GameStop employee is not going to change a policy. A GameStop employee is not going to be able to change anything about the industry.
No,
not industry-wise. I think you can change. You could eventually change company-wise. And again, I don't want to get too deep into
I don't think
GameStop
as GameStop
changing
employees,
things.
I don't feel like they ever listened enough.
Well, I see and that's just because that's old GameStop.
You expect GameStop employees to know the products they're selling, and they do. Yeah. GameStop employees know their product. GameStop employees aren't going to be your Wikipedia for your game.
P3, bro.
P3.
You got it, right?
You got that P3?
No, you got that 3.
Oh, that's not 3. You got that 3.
Fuck, that's even harder.
Still was phone call. Got a 2K.
Yes, we got 2K.
2K. Show up and I hang you in HO.
Yep.
So, you got 2K. You want wrestling? You want NBA? you want MLB?
GameStop employees know what they're selling. They can't change any of the rules. They can't. They're not going to.
No, we don't control the trading values or anything like that. We just
what you're coming in on with stating that I told a guy to have his own opinions, and that is where you're upset. I said, I don't know, and I said, the guy was like, well, how am I supposed to know if the game is good? And I said, have your own opinion. Yeah. And that's where this all popped off from.
So that's where we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it at have your own opinion. Yeah, we're going to leave it at have your own opinion.
Thank you for commenting. We're done with this conversation.
It's getting spicy.
If you don't like the channel, bye-bye. If you like the channel, stick around. Come watch me play a game that I enjoy. Make your opinion then. I'm not going to ask you to stick around. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe. I'm not going to ask you to fucking follow. I'm going to ask you to, if you like what I do,
that's how Preston follows it. That's how he does it.
If you don't like what I do, don't stick around.
I agree. Yeah, I think so too, Chris.
What I'm saying is,
until you came to derail.
Buy into what you like. If you like what I do, buy into it with a follow. Buy into it with a sub. If you don't like what I do,
well, the story is.
Buy what you want.
Buy what you like. So with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the first episode of the Geek and Critique podcast. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I appreciate everybody that was here. Even if you were... Yeah, we went a little over. It's okay. Even if we're asking heated questions and getting into heated topics. That's what the point of this is, right? So I'm Mike. Of course, if you're watching on Mike Nike 093, we stream Wednesday through Sunday.
Did you say Mike Nike?
Yes, it is Mike Nike.
So
I gave into it. It's supposed to be. It was supposed to be Mike and Nike, but I gave into it. It's Mike Nike 093.
I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
Adidas are better.
Adidas are better. Wow. Okay, guys. Oh, okay. But yeah, obviously, you follow channel, all that good stuff.
Get LMFAO back together.
I hate you so much. Brandon, where can everybody follow you at?
VX Panel Lover on Twitch TV.
There you go. Twitch.tv/VX Panel Lover. Brian?
BZ Bean.
There you go.
That's Twitter,
everything.
My man's on Anthem, bro.
And last but certainly not least, Preston, where can everybody find you at?
You can find me at Loki Trickster on Twitch, and you can fucking find me on YouTube if you really want to. No, nothing's there. I tried putting up a VOD, and I got fucking hit with so many copyright things.
Oh, dude, let me tell you, I've put up 3 of my VODs, and all 3 got hit with claims.
The thing is I have permission to use the music.
Yeah.
So, I had to, I got blocked, and I was like, no, I have permission to use this.
Ooh.
So, it's easier for me to do it on Twitch, because it's an automated system on Twitch where I'm like, nope, I have right. Here's all my right stuff, leave me alone. But y'all can find me on Twitter at Loki Trickster as well. I tweet mostly video game stuff. And then later today, after this, we're actually going to shut this down and then bring it back up for some Dragon Warrior 3.
Boom. I'll probably be playing
Anthem. Oddcast, you're welcome to come back and watch me play Dragon Warrior 3. I would love to have you in chat.
I'm the antagonism.
I think, Mike, what are you playing?
We're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring this down, and probably, what time is it now? 3 o'clock. I'll probably be back up at 3:34 playing Anthem.
All right.
Playing do some more Anthem. So, thanks everybody for coming out. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll catch you guys next week.
I don't know. Are you guys gonna do one next week? Just you and Brandon?
Yeah, it'll probably be me, Brandon, and my little brother Mitch. We'll be doing one, and then I was talking with Chris about doing a Kingdom Hearts spoiler cast sometime soon.
Okay, because I know Brian and myself will not be here next week. Miryoko, if you are in chat, hit up Mike and see if you are around to maybe hop in and do some podcasting with him in our place. Yeah, he definitely. We talked. I think today, Chris. Didn't we talk today? I think we talked today. Yeah, we talked today. But whatever. Pop in. I mean, we would love to have some of you guys on as voices. I would welcome Oddcast for you to come and chat with me at any given time if you're still around. Is that his name? I know. He brought the hot takes. He did. He brought in the hot stuff, hot sauce. And like I said, I was trying to stay out of chat and bringing chat into the conversation, but I feel like he brought up some good points. It's cool. I think in the future, like Leader stated, not mad at Oddcast. Oh yeah, no, not at all. I want everyone to know he was speaking his mind, and I welcome that in my chat. You can argue with me. I welcome that in chat. Yeah. He may have had some misinformation because I don't think he was here for all of it. And I want to call everyone out in my chat. Don't fight anyone. If you guys have opinions, state them. Talk about them. I don't feel like anyone was assaulting or attacking. That's not what I'm saying. So don't take it that way, guys. But you all are always welcome to have those conversations in chat. I'm not going to kick anyone out for it. Negative Ghost Rider. I don't ban people from my chat unless, of course, they get to a point where I know that they're trying to get banned. I may just mute you. But I'm not going to ban people unless it's 100% warranted. Cool. And I like to have an open. Yeah. Where do you draw the line with trolls? We'll talk about that later. There we go. But yeah, catch us next week. We'll be doing it at the same time. It'll be 1 p.m. every Saturday. Sometimes it's the 4 of us. Sometimes it's other people. It just depends on who's here. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch y'all next time. Before we go, end out, Mike. Not next week, but tune in the following podcast where I want to talk about the state of reviews in the video game industry.
Boom. That's 2 weeks. 2 weeks out.
I will send Mike and Brandon. I'm going to send you guys the articles I'm referring to.
Okay.
And I'll show Brian the ones I'm talking about because there have been some
hot takes.
Some developers and some VPs. I won't say of which companies who have gotten onto reviewers about how they play games and that they're not good reviewers because of how they play
games. Yeah, I remember that.
So those are going to be the takes for not next week, but the week
2 weeks out. Yeah.
Night?
The 9th.
Second week of March.
Yeah,
the 9th.
All right.
But thank you all for coming and hanging out.
Yeah, guys. Thanks so much. Catch y'all next time.
Peace.
Boop, 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 boop.
That was the Anthem developers that did